How's it going, guys? Sushi Vision here. Wanted to do my very first and one of many showcases. So this is my Whirlwind Barb. I'm always been a Necro player, but this season I decided to actually give this a go. I haven't played Barb in a very long time like that, but this Barb took a couple of different forms. It started out as a singer. Um, and it eventually became a whirlwind barb. So pretty much, I had a couple of other items that I used prior, and since I managed to craft the pike, the war pike that he currently uses now, that was mainly the reason for the switch. So let me go over everything. I'll show you guys a little bit of it. So this was the pike that started everything. So this is a 370 ED war pike that I slammed 5 sockets in. Of course, I could have gone with a vial, or could have gone with ethereal, or whatever it may be, but I decided to take this route. After a little bit, had a couple of runes, a couple of item trades here and there. So I socketed 5 ohms into this thing, and for a non-ethereal, it hits like a truck. Could have been ethereal, could have been more damage, 100%, but at least for my taste, for what it is at the moment, this does the job. And eventually, if I find something crazy that I could sell for a lot, I may switch it, but it's doing the job right now, and it's super fun. So this is the main weapon, the main reason why this Barb exists. So going on to the gloves. The gloves, I picked a pair of steel wrens with 61 ED for 3 shards. Slapped them on. First map that I did, these dropped, and I managed to slam all res on it with 8. Worked out for me. I'll take it. Crushing blow could be a little bit better, but I think it's very, very doable. This Bocatos came out for 4 shards. It was clean. I slammed light res on it. I only picked it up because it had the 6% PDR. The damage, of course, could be better, but it's doing the trick. The helm, the halberds. This is the 3rd one that I have on this Barb. I still have the other 2. I picked these up fairly inexpensive, but it's very hard to find a perfect one with 3 of everything. And after the first 2 only slammed with pretty, crappy slams, I ended up just puzzle boxing this one for 2 sockets. Probably could have done better, but for the meantime, it is what it is. I ended up finding about 4 puzzle boxes this season, so I decided to just spend 1, and I just threw 2 I think it was like 30 plus ED jewels with like some other stats on there, and it's serving justice for the meantime. The amulet, it's a Saracens chance. I do need to look for one that has CBF, because I currently don't have CBF at this moment, but it hasn't stopped the Barb at all. Like, I still go through just about anything. There were a couple that I saw that had ED on it, so that might be the next play. That might be the next investment, or I might even find one with a better slam and try to desecrate it afterwards. So it's an alternative. The fortitude. This is the 3rd one. The first one that I crafted came out to 252 with 28 all res. Came out with better life. The second one came out to 253 with perfect life and 27 all res, and I managed to resell them both for low each. So I decided to take a third chance and craft it again, and this one rolled with 292. It was the lowest part on life, but it rolled with 28 all res, which we will take. It's not, you know, it's not the ideal thing, but hey, it is what it is. I just don't want to keep spending runes on it and retrying to craft this. Of course, string of veer, so more PDR. You have some flat MDR, which doesn't hurt. A random ring that I crafted that came out with 6 mana, so it keeps this guy spinning. This lamb was 6 to all stats. The res and the mana on here are pluses, so not bad. This thing was like the 3rd or 4th gore rat that I found this season. Probably the little better one that I had. I need a poison rest, so this fit perfectly. And on swap, since I mentioned earlier that this was a singer barb, I do have 2 Hodos, and just my luck, they both wrote 23 rest. So it's, now it just, for the pre-buffs, it's a very expensive pre-buff, and you could always find bow sticks from Mala, and especially if you're in a single game by yourself, you could just open up a portal next to her for a map, go in and out, and just keep refreshing their inventory that way. Most of the grand charms are all maxers with life. I think I have 3 or 4 here that are not, but I'll go over them. So the ones that don't have life in it, I do plan on upgrading and trying to get better ones. This combat skill Barb life, this was the very first one that I found this season, so I just kept it. It came in handy. All the small charms are max damage. I do need to upgrade the 2% ones, or the 2 ones, and I do need to eventually get rid of this somehow, so I have more damage, and I gotta buy another 3 max. So the torch came out perfect. I farmed this with my blood golem necro. It dropped, and it was almost perfect to what I needed, and it's been on here and probably will stay here until the end of the season. There's Annie that was very mid for me, but I ended up just trying to corrupt it anyways, and another skill came out, so it's staying. I probably won't bother to spend any more money or try for a perfect one, so it is what it is. I will go over the Merc, and this was probably the final stage of the mercenary. I had him on a Act 5 prior, but he was dying a little bit too much, so we reverted now to Blast Aim on a Act 2 Merc, and we get a couple of benefits from Blast Aim. The Deadly Strike, the reductions, and whatnot. So he is pretty damn tanky. He has a Vamp Gaze that I picked up for 3 shards that somebody slammed faster recovery on. It does have a soul rune on it for more flat PDR, and it had pretty decent PDR percentage. So he gets his life leech from there, a little bit of flat cold damage. The Leviathan that I picked up, this is the 3rd one that I picked up. I slammed CBF on it, and I just bought a little the little hammer from Larzuk to throw a socket on there so he could cap out on his cold res. I may need to switch this out a little bit since the gloves are no longer what they were, so his fire res is down, but we'll sort that out. The string was the cheapest one that I found for 1 shard, and it just completes his PDR on max. So for what I know, PDR is basically capped at 50. So he is tanky. I did just pick these up for 3 shards. A lot of people sleep on these gloves, but for a Act 2 Merc, in my opinion, these are probably the best gloves that you could pick up flat out, because it has 30 fast hit recovery and 10 IAS, and for the price and the benefits on a Merc, I don't think it can be beat. This is just my opinion, but you know, it does help a lot. Reapers for the imp. I do need to find one with sockets just so I could have him proc amp a little bit more. 90% of the time, everything dies before he even procs, but it's, you know, for the moral support is great. And these are just some random boots that I had laying around. I will probably find something that has the fire rest, so it caps out. A lot of good boots are dropping for me. And his stats are here. A lot of deadly. Life leech is phenomenal. You don't need any FCR because, and again, it's just jab. But the faster recovery does help. I may try to push something so he hits the next breakpoint, because when you jump into the pack and he's in that pocket hitting, he does recover very fast. So the amp does get procced a lot, especially on the denser maps. What else? I showed you my stats. I'm F44. I do have 17 deadly, but with his blast aim, it goes to 31, 32. And you don't need any IIS for a WW Barb, but I may try to do something, try to find a 5 fast hit recovery, 3 max small charm, just so I can hit this next one. Kind of doesn't hurt. I don't really get damage like that, but it doesn't hurt. I'll just show you with the pre-buffs. And basically, I'm at 25k defense. All in Whirlwind. It's 100% chance that I'm going to hit, which is great. His damage is at 25k. If you're running a Act 5 Merc with Might, it goes usually around 27, 28. And if you're on a pub map where there's other auras, this guy will hit 32, 33, even 35 all day. Strength is literally just to wear your gear. Majority of my points are into the shadow play, which is 220. And the dex, it's literally just so I can have the spike on. It's 106 dex, and that's it. Everything else goes on life. You do have a lot of life. The Merc ends up with 15k pretty much of defense. I could always upgrade a couple of these other things to elite just so I could give him more, you know, more damage, more defense, I'm sorry. But he's very tanky. You could go into packs of Might, no problem. And pretty much, yeah, the skills is 1 point to double swing, 1 to concentrate, 1 to berserk. Everything else into Whirlwind, 1 into Howl. Shout, you could go anywhere from 15 to 17 depending on the level. Battle orders, it's 1 to 3 points if you like, if you need more life. And 20 into battle command. You don't need to add any points into battle cry since Halberds gives you the points for it. And once you buff, you get pretty solid defense and fizz damage resistance reduction, so it's just good. It breaks most of the fizz immunes that you run on cars, and the ones you don't break, you just brute force into it. And it's all the other points into polearm and spear mastery. On this case, since I am a pike barb, but you could go general master if you're running swords or anything else. 1 into combat reflexes, 1 to increase speed, max out iron skin for that PDR. 1 into natural resistances and 1 into deep wounds, and that's pretty much it. It's a solid Barb. It's very fun. I've been enjoying myself playing this Barb, and yeah, if you guys have any comments, questions, ideas, maybe something that I missed that I could probably improve on it, feel free to leave it down, and then we'll go from there. I really appreciate you guys, and well, I'll probably leave a showcase of my Necro pretty soon.